There is a quiet crisis in American education. Our nation is failing to recognize and nurture one of our most important resources. It is a quiet crisis because it seemingly affects a relatively small group, our nation's brightest students. In reality, this crisis affects each and every one of us.
From a historical perspective, if we look at the span of human accomplishments, some periods in history were much more productive than other periods. In some periods, their genius flowered, developed, and grew. There was great achievement, and the whole civilization took a giant leap forward.
We have a tremendous resource here of these gifted and talented students, and we assume that they're self-motivated, that they don't need any encouragement in school. But the fact of the matter is, if they get encouragement, additional help, they're going to develop way beyond what they would otherwise do. And that additional development of these gifted and talented students is a tremendous resource that our nation's missing out on. And we need to cultivate that resource in order to enhance opportunities for our nation to develop to its full potential.
Every child, for the good of our society and for themselves, has to be challenged to reach their full potential.
The Davidson Institute for Talent Development is a nonprofit organization dedicated to making a positive difference by providing scholarships and free services for our nation's brightest young people.
Bob and I founded the Davidson Institute for Talent Development because we believe that all children should be nurtured to develop their talents. And we observed that profoundly gifted and highly gifted students were being ignored in our educational system. So we decided to focus our energies and our other resources on making a difference in this area.
The Davidson Fellows Award was designed to highlight the achievements of extraordinary students. Essentially, what we are looking to do is to honor them and to be able to say, this is a wonderful contribution that you are making to society, and you should be recognized for that. Davidson Fellows are recognized in a variety of different areas. We recognize them in math, science, technology, music, literature, and philosophy.
I did my research on lossless data compression. Basically, I invented a brand new universal lossless dictionary-based compression algorithm. And this algorithm can be used to improve the speed of the internet.
What we did is we used X-rays, synchrotron X-rays, to look at the gasoline injection process.
My science fair project was prompted by my interest in, first of all, cancer, because my grandfather had died of cancer, sadly before I knew him, and also in cellular biology.
This scholarship will help me pursue any of my musical endeavors that I wish to pursue without worrying about any financial roadblocks. And I feel this is kind of a turning point for me.
We as a nation are faced with an important decision. Do we continue to ignore our brightest young minds, squandering this valuable resource? Or do we invest in our future by recognizing and inspiring these students to develop their talents?
There are several important factors that need to come together for a student to develop his or her talents. First of all, they need to have an ability or a talent that they are passionately committed to developing.
It's never been a problem for me to excel in writing. I developed this talent through good teachers in the early years, and later on just doing a lot of reading and writing alone.
I think the most important thing when developing your talents is to never let anybody tell you no. Most professors and higher level researchers, they're interested in seeing students, and seeing high school students and middle school students working on advanced topics.
There are also some outside influences that need to support that child as they develop that talent. The child needs to have a supportive family.
My family definitely stands behind me in whatever I do. They help me get exposed to music and anything basically, math, art, science, as from a young age as possible.
They need to have a supportive environment in general, whether that's an education environment or whether that's an environment they create with amongst their own peers.
Being in the community of your peers really helps you build confidence. And it also gives you a group of people to talk to. When something's going wrong, when I had trouble with my research, I would talk to friends. and I'd feel better about it immediately. When there was someone there who could understand what I was going through. And I think in general, this sort of community of peers really helps a student move on through their life.
And then the most important part that needs to come together is the child needs to have access to mentors and teachers who can appropriately challenge them as they are developing their talent.
Mentors help students pursue their passions. They help students remain enthusiastic about what they love doing. And with that type of encouragement, students can really succeed.
I'd like to also thank my mentor, Professor Bud Mishler of New York University, as well as Professor Wozniakowski of Columbia University, for their help and contributions, as well as my teachers at my high school.
So first, I'd like to thank my mentors, Dr. Jin Wong and Dr. Dean Hafner, who are right there.
I think my teachers were very supportive in the fact that they recognized I was ahead of the kids. And first of all, they were very encouraging. The enthusiasm and effort, I think, was definitely there.
Teachers are vital to the development of intellectual talent. Unfortunately, they are often hindered by the structure of the American public school system, which still chooses to group students by age rather than ability.
It is perfectly acceptable to require a 14-year-old student who is capable of doing mathematical physics at a college level. That student in our schools is often forced to take 9th grade math and science courses.
What we're doing in public education today is saying that we want to bring every child up to a level of proficiency. Very often that level of proficiency is at a very low level. So what we're doing in essence is putting a sign on the schoolhouse door. Once you've reached minimum proficiency, we have nothing more here for you.
That's the component, in my opinion, interested kids, a passionate instructor who practices what she does in a small classroom. And we need to do that everywhere. And we could do it everywhere, but we need to put our money where our mouth is.
For every $100 we spend on education, we only spend 2 cents to educate gifted children. Now, what does this say about how we value as a society the nurturing of intellectual development?
The federal mandate for a free public education is generally failing gifted and talented students.
I think one of our greatest contributions in serving highly intelligent students has been to help them find a good match educationally for their abilities.
It is time to address this quiet crisis in American education. Each of us must accept the responsibility to recognize and nurture our brightest young people.
I hope state legislative bodies will pass legislation to give special attention to the needs of gifted and talented. And at the federal level, I'm going to continue to push my very comprehensive legislation.
My counterparts and I have a responsibility, a responsibility to the kids who are still in middle school or who will be in high school when we're in grad school, to not forget what it was like to be at that age with few opportunities, and those few opportunities that we had to work hard for. So I'd like to see us giving back to the next generation of scientists, of artists, of writers, whatever they are, by just not forgetting them, by giving them opportunities to work alongside us, who've already been through what they're going through and can offer them a helping hand.
We hope that by recognizing these students' intellectual abilities and nurturing them and being there for them when times are tough, that they will grow, flower and grow, and make a positive difference to society. We hope they, when they're adults, will give back by nurturing other young children and helping them develop their talents. And I believe they will.
Our institute is built on the belief that individuals who have extraordinary intelligence and talents, when encouraged and supported, can improve the quality of life for everyone. This is why we will continue to seek out and celebrate the success stories like these of the Davidson Fellows. They have so much to offer when the nation has so much at stake.
I hope to change the world.